Hello. So before I get started, I would like to say, when you buy my books, can you please leave reviews? A, it shows that people purchase them, and B, it helps inform others if they wish to do the same. So, now that I got that out of the way, what I want to discuss today is an illness known as aphantasia. Aphantasia, let's go back. Let's not call it an illness, let's call it a condition. I have illnesses. I have epilepsy, ADHD, I'm bipolar. Those are illnesses. Aphantasia is more like a condition, and the way it works is you don't picture things in your mind. And for some people, that's a concept they just can't understand. A lot of people, when you say it to them, they think, oh, that's overblown. There's no way your mind can work that way. But it does. And it's funny because on the flip side of things, a lot of people with aphantasia don't realize that other people's minds don't work like theirs. I didn't. When people say the phrase, "Why'd you put that image in my head?" and they get all pissy about it, I thought that was a figure of speech. I didn't know they literally meant it. By the way, see how I just used the word literally? That is the proper way of how it's used. Nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but it is a pet peeve. If you tell me your heart is literally bursting out of your chest, you don't know how that word works. Because if your heart was literally bursting out of your chest, you would be dead and you couldn't tell me about it at all. Got that out of the way. Just a tiny pet peeve of mine. Anyhow, aphantasia, as I said, it's an illness where it's a condition where you can't picture things, but that doesn't mean you don't have an imagination. And I feel like that's a common misconception. They tie those things together, and it's simply not true. If you tell me there's a tree on a hill and the breeze is blowing and the grass is flowing from said breeze, I didn't see any of that, but I know what those things are. In fact, they were my words, so I just imagined it. But I didn't actually see it. My imagination works just fine. I'm very descriptive. There's a scene in my first book where I'm describing this dive bar that my character is in, and it's a really ratty place, and I'm very descriptive of how crappy this place is. And then when it comes to things like a fighting sequence, like I'm very descriptive on how a fight works. I'm very descriptive on all these things. The one place where I'm not super descriptive at is the way my characters look. Now, I'll give you some basic description, but overall, I leave that up to you. And I'm still descriptive though. I'm more descriptive of who the character is, the things they say, the things they do. Like I want you to know the character. I don't really give a rat's ass how they look. You get to pick that, which I think is even better because then it's more your story anyway. You decide who this character is to you. I'll give you the loose description, but you do the rest. What you don't have to do, however, is imagine how this person is. I want to make sure you know who the character is, like it's somebody you know in real life. I get very descriptive as far as the character themselves internally, who they are. The external, I don't care what that's like. You do that. They're our characters. I own the rights, but they're our characters. I share them with you. I'm actually kind of jealous because a lot of things I write, I would love to see. I would love to see these things because they seem awesome. If it was a movie or a TV show, anything. And it's not just my books. When I read something, I don't see it. I know what these things are. I know what they mean. I can still enjoy literature. I just don't see it when I read it. And I think for some people, that's kind of mind blowing. It's just the way it works. So, long story short, just because you can't picture something doesn't mean you don't have an imagination. Doesn't mean you can't imagine something. You can still imagine things without seeing them. Facts.